This is the Upcoming Podcast with your host, Zach Collins.
All right, so hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Upcoming Podcast. This is actually the first Upcoming Podcast ever, so I'll explain the format to the show. This is Evan Alt here, so I kind of explained it to him a little bit, but not to you. So we're going to be interviewing high school athletes. These aren't going to be boring interviews. These are going to be something that's fun. There's going to be trivia. The coach will send in even a question that I'll ask here, and then we'll talk about the sport and a few things about the athlete, question about me because no one knows a single thing about me, and just get into it. So Evan, you're our athlete here today on the Upcoming Podcast, the first ever. So, no pressure, nothing at all. Just introduce yourself a little bit to the audience.
My name is Evan Alt. I go to Audubon High School, and I'm going to be a senior.
Awesome. So, Evan, you've played football for your whole life, if I'm correct?
Yep.
And, how did you actually get into football? Just a little question. I know we said we wouldn't go with the boring questions here, but, just get into a little bit.
Well, it all really started when I was a young kid. I have 3 older brothers who all played football, and we kind of just played around the yard, and I kind of fell in love with the game from that.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I actually never played football, so that's a hint for later's question. Because I was terrible, and we didn't have football in my high school. So fun fact for you there. So that kind of helps you out. That's just a little hint that I actually threw in there. So let's actually get into some trivia here. So we'll kind of open that up just a little bit with that lovely sound. That was probably the loudest thing you've ever heard in your life, but it's great and makes it great overall. So couple questions for you here in our trivia segment. Last season, you made one pass that resulted in a touchdown. How many yards did you throw for that specific touchdown?
Was it 11?
7 yards for that touchdown. Out of all plays, you could have had 7 yards. I mean, hey, it resulted in a touchdown, though, so I'll give you that. That's pretty good credit right there. So moving on to the next one, how many yards per carry did you average last season? I believe you had 59 carries last season. How many yards per carry did you average?
I believe it was around 9.
Ooh. So close. 6.5, which is actually still one of the highest on the team overall, especially with your carries. When you statistically average it out, hey, it's pretty good. So that actually brings me up to our next question. An NFL player averaged just 0.3 yards more than you in their carries last season. Who is that player, or who is the player that was on that team? So you can guess a team and a player, or you can just guess one or the other.
Was it Derrick Henry?
Ooh, close in a way, but that player was Lamar Jackson. Out of all players, I mean, hey, you have stats that are like Lamar Jackson. I mean, you got to at least compare yourself to that somehow. You got to brag about it now. Now you can brag to people about it. So that's pretty cool. So looking at it as well, as I cough into the mic like an unprofessional, your team actually beat Coon Rapids Bayard at home for the homecoming game last season. Your team had 66. How much did the Crusaders score in that game?
34.
30. Just close. Just itching on the edge. I mean, come on, Evan. You're so close. This is the closest we've been. So, looking at this as well, looking at another team you guys played, you took on Exira EHK last season as well. What was the last year that Audubon actually lost to Exira EHK?
2017.
Are you finalized on your answer? I'm not even going to touch anything yet. You're so close.
Was it 2018?
Yes, we've done it. We found one. All right, 2018, last time that Exira EHK beat Audubon. So it's been some time. You guys actually beat them pretty well last season, too. Hopefully you do it this season for you guys.
Yeah.
So this is non-related to football. It's not related to you or really anybody, but rather the sign kind of behind me. What year was KSOM, the radio station, founded? It was in the 90s. I'll give you that hint.
Was it 96?
Are you finalized with that answer?
Is it? Yeah, 1996.
All right. 1995. You're literally just 1 year off. There's a couple months actually off. So close. It's just the 1 or 2, man. I mean, you're itching it every single time. Just coming close. So moving to some college football, actually. What school has the biggest win in college football history? Now, this dates all the way back to the late 1890s.
Ooh.
They're not a powerhouse anymore, if that's a hint.
A small college?
They're a bigger college. They're actually pretty well known. I guess this year they'd be more well known in basketball, I'd say.
Is it Texas?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It's actually Georgia Tech. Now, Georgia Tech did this in 1916. They beat a college called Cumberland 222-0. So a little bit of a fun fact for you that you can tell your friends now. Cumberland actually got rid of their football program by this point. In 1915, they had a football team. 1916, they didn't. But Georgia Tech already scheduled the game. They signed a contract that said that they specifically had to play this contest. So their team manager at the time, who was a college student, George Allen, became the coach and got all of his fraternity brothers to play in this game. And pretty much they just got their butts whooped, and that's how the end of the game went.
Cool.
So that's how that all played out. Couldn't tell you why they had it. Couldn't tell you how they had it. And my God, I hope there wasn't anyone there. So that's your 8 questions. You're 1 for 8. So currently the best on the upcoming podcast is Evan. So congratulations to you for that.
Thank you.
Big congrats. So we've got one little question here. So this is an NFL-based question. The Dallas Cowboys never won at Lambeau Field, which is the Green Bay Packers Stadium, until what year?
Is it in the 2000s?
It's in the 2000s. I'll give you later 2000s.
Was it 2004?
Is that your final answer? I know it's tough.
2005.
Oh, that is the entirely wrong song. Wow. We'll do that. So that was the entirely wrong song and the entirely wrong answer. It was 2008, actually, until the Dallas Cowboys beat the Packers, and then the Packers beat them just 3 years after at their home stadium in the Super Bowl. So, fun fact for you there. So, you got one of them right at least, though, so you're the reigning king. I'll put you up on the leaderboard, so you'll be up there currently right now, which would move to your coach's question. So this doesn't have an answer. You're the answer for this one, or at least I hope you can come up with something for this one. So what are you planning for in your next season to step into a leadership role?
We went to a team camp this weekend, and I'm seeing a lot there. I think we just need all of us need to come together more as a team and not get on each other much, because we're kind of blaming each other about certain things, but we kind of just need to own up to it and then move on.
Yeah, no, I mean, one other thing, kind of how are you looking even to be a leader next year and, kind of step up? Are you going to be a very talkative leader? Are you going to be more demonstrative in your actions? Kind of talk us through that little process.
Personally, I'd rather demonstrate it through, because a lot of the talking kind of just flies by people's head. So, and if they see that, they're going to follow, I guess.
Yeah. No, I fully get that. I mean, a lot of the time we see athletes, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. You want to be able to just walk the walk and kind of talking's later. If I'm kind of getting that right. Yeah, that's awesome, though. So we're going to move on to the Zach question. So this is for me. What sports did I play while I was in high school? We know it's not football, but there's 3 sports I played, one of which I was very average at. The other 2 I was a little bit better in. I'll at least say that. I'm not going to say I was great or anything because that's why I'm covering sports and not playing sports, because clearly I wasn't great enough. So
Was basketball one of them?
it was not. Believe it or not, it was not. I'll give you 5 guesses. How about that? So we got 1 down.
Was one of them baseball?
Baseball was 1.
What about golf?
Golf was not. I'm a terrible golfer. I shoot to the right. So if you ever want to win, go with me.
What about tennis?
Tennis, I coached and played rec, but I did not play in high school. I played in college. Got 1 more guess. And if you get 2 of them right, at least it helps out the next person a little bit.
What about wrestling?
I did not wrestle either. Actually, my school did not have wrestling. I'm from Indiana, so we didn't have wrestling at my school. We were too small, which is kind of amazing overall. But you got 1 of them, so that definitely helps out the next person in knocking those all down the board. So 1 of them's correct. I'm not going to give the answer because if I did, then the next person would just watch the whole thing and get everything right. We don't want them to do that, do we?
Yeah.
Right. So some personal questions kind of about you. I mean, just talk to me a little bit more about yourself. I mean, what are you looking to do after high school?
Right now, I'm still undecided after high school, but I'm kind of looking into a lot of things right now. Hoping one of them opens a door to community.
Awesome. And I mean, kind of what are your hobbies outside of football? Because I mean, football's great. Football's life. I get that. But kind of what are some things you do outside of football, other sports that you play, even played in the past? Just kind of talk to me about that a little bit.
So over the summer, I do golf with a bunch of my friends. So we do that whenever we're free. Whenever I'm free, I also look cattle and pigs. I'm usually working on those.
Awesome. And kind of, just a little bit about you too. I mean, what are some activities that you kind of just like to go out and do? Like there's like that one thing that, you're bored, you have nothing to do. It's a summer afternoon. What are you going to go do that day?
Usually if it's summer afternoon, bored, I'll just go out and hang with friends and we'll find something to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just kind of talk to me about too, like some of your favorite sports teams. I mean, it doesn't have to be football specific. It can be baseball, football. It can be college, professional, whatever it is. I mean, just talk to me about some of them, even some of your favorite players and how you kind of adopted those sports teams.
Well, I'm a big Packers fan.
I'm so happy. You literally just made my day. I'm a diehard Packer fan too, man. You made my day. All right, I'm happy now.
Then I only really watch football, and then I'm a Hawkeye fan.
All right.
So yeah, those are really the only 2 teams I keep up with.
Cool. No baseball, no basketball.
Nah,
no,
not really.
I don't blame you. Now, who's your favorite athlete overall?
Probably Aaron.
Okay. It's a good selection. Now, why would he be your favorite one?
Well, growing up, everyone wanted to be a quarterback, and I looked up to him. But then things didn't work position, but he's still one of my favorites as a kid.
That's awesome. What do you think about his move to the Jets?
I think it's going to be interesting. And he might be a little better than him, and the Packers might get a little worse.
Yeah.
See how it plays out.
Now, how about this? How do you feel about the Jordan Love game?
I don't love it.
You're not in love with Love, huh?
No, watching a couple of games that he played, unless he keeps working again, Packers might be really bad.
They might be. But, hey, I mean, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I've had some people that have bought Jordan Love jerseys because they're so excited. So you're not jumping on the Love train?
No.
No, all right. I don't blame you either. I mean, it's gonna be tough. I feel like it's gonna be an interesting watch this season, especially in the NFC North.
Yeah.
Because Detroit's getting good, Minnesota's getting good, Chicago no, but Green Bay also probably not either. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yep.
So I guess one other thing to mention too here, what is your question for the next guest? Now, you don't know the next guest. I don't know the next guest until after this show. So it can be literally anything. It can even just be like, what is Evan Alt's favorite number? Like, I don't even care what it is. You can pick anything you want.
What are they looking forward to? Whatever they're like with sports.
Okay. I'll have to write that down and get that in because that's the next question for the person. We'll see kind of what they answer. And I mean, in the future, I mean, people will probably come up with even weirder questions. I'm really hoping for just like, what is the color of someone's room or something, and I'll have to watch it or something. I don't even know what's going to happen in the future. So, I mean, hey, anything could really happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Evan, you're coming into the next season too. This is a more football related question to kind of finish things off here. What's one aspect that you're looking most forward to next season?
Something I'm really looking forward to is we're kind of putting in a little bit of new offense. And we did lose a couple players from last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be kind of interesting to see how well new guys play with our offense and just see how everything works out offensively. See how well we get things going this year.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just kind of seeing how the transition works with a young squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. Really looking forward to seeing you guys next season and, looking forward to seeing you on the field as well. And, Evan, I mean, just thank you for joining me here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean, it was no pressure at all. It's like the first one we've ever done here. But, hey, you did great. I appreciate it. You're 1 of 8, so you're the team leader. I'll make a leaderboard and everything. I'll even put it online. I mean, I don't even care. Whatever you want me to do. I'll get your name out there, man. I mean, I'll put you everywhere.
Do it.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Evan. I really appreciate your time here today, and thanks for joining me.
Yep, thank you for having me.